be too close to somebody so that if they move you get hit, but you want to be close enough so you get the draft, the benefit of that. I will be running some skills drills with all these cones in the middle. I promise it'll be fun, and it'll be harder than you think it is. So the two groups in the middle with me, one group on the outside, we're going to switch about every half hour. The only last thing I would say is what we want to see mostly is we want to see you relaxed and having fun on your bike. We don't want to see, you know, if your arms are locked out and your back is real straight. We know that you're not relaxing, and that's when problems happen. Relax. And we're not racing. There's no prizes. There's no there's no money on the line here. Just relax. You'll find it's a lot easier to ride around in the group when you're relaxed and not stressed out.
Get better the draft get. Really, this is about where you want to be. It's about 6 inches to a foot behind. Okay. Controlling your speed is very important. So you don't want to walk in looking at the person's back wheel, because then you can't see what's going on in front of you, whether the group changes direction or whether there's some braking going on or someone has an issue out front. It's going to just feather your braking. Don't jam the brakes. Okay, that causes issues with people beside you and behind you. If you need to control your speed, just feather the brakes. And the other thing you can do is if you're coming up on somebody, you can actually get off of their center line, get out into the air, get some air resistance on your front end, and it'll slow you down, and then you can just kind of slot right back in behind him at the same speed that he's going, okay? So there's ways to control speed by using the air around you, okay? If you do happen to, if there is a slowing of the group, and let's say Andy puts his brakes on and you end up crossing wheels like this, just feather yourself down to a speed and then slowly work yourself back. As he accelerates back up to speed, you can accelerate with him, but maybe at a lesser rate, and just slot right back in behind him again, okay? If you intend to go by him, then it's just a matter of getting up beside him like on a straightaway. Establish yourself in his peripheral vision so that he knows you're there, and you can even say something to him on your left or on your right. He knows that you are there, okay? It might be the kind of thing where you get up beside somebody on the straightaway, and you say something to somebody as you enter that turn, okay, so that they know you are there, all right? What else do we need to cover?
If we're rotating,
oh yes.
So if we're rotating the group, how many people know what that means? Anybody?
Rotating pace line.
Rotating pace line.
Yeah.
So if you're on the front, you take your 10-second pull. And then you see the person coming in your peripheral vision. Don't stay on the same speed. Feather off like 1 or 2 pedal strokes, so that person doesn't have to gas themselves to come through. And that way you have a much more efficient pace line.
It's like I come through,
and I'm going to feather off.
He's feathering off the power. I come through, I do my pull. Once I'm through, I pull back in line, and the person comes through. Okay? What you want to do is when you come back in line, you just want to lift off the power a little bit so the person behind you can just come right through at the same speed that you're riding at. Okay? You don't want to keep on the power, because then all of a sudden that person is having to like practically race you to get by you, and you start gapping the line. It just causes all kinds of havoc. So judge the speed of the group as you're doing the rotations. Okay?
We call that hanging somebody out to dry. You don't want to hang anybody out to dry.
You have to be on the brakes going through the turn. You only modulate them. You just kind of drag them. That's it. If you jam them, especially that rear one, whoop, down you go. All right. So if you still are unsure about your speed, you can brake in a straight line, go into the turn, and just release the brakes. And if you have to drag them a little bit, that's fine. But if you can get off them, even better. Okay. The reason for that is the wheels have to turn. Traction is created by the tire actually rolling on the ground, and if you're slowing the roll of the wheel, you're taking traction out of the system, and you need the traction. Okay.
Hi, if we could have used our big rings. I know it would have got you on this sprint.
That's why it's important to do high cadence drills. It's like giving yourself an extra 1 or 2 gears. Go for it, go for it. How you doing? Good, good, good. Awesome. I swore I saw this happen.
Believe in yourself!
Talking about your boy.
Stay in the draft as best you can, okay? 5 laps, 3, 2, 1, go! All ready, Greg.
Come on, baby. Get in, get in.
There you go, babe. You got it, you got it.
He's in the lead.
Good job.
Good job, good job, good job. Good job, baby.
All right, new rule. Nobody rides in that puddle.
That's wise.
Especially you. I don't know. I just struggle when you're out there.
Closely with other people, okay? With that comes protecting your front wheel and making sure that you don't cross wheels and end up on the deck, okay? So be very, very attentive the closer you get to people. Always be looking through them so you understand what's coming up the road, anything that's happening in the group that you would need to react to. If you're staring at the hub of the guy in front of you, it can lead to problems, okay? So learn how to look through and then still ride close to the person in front of you, okay? Racing is all about pacing. So any of you who did the 3-lap and the 5-lap who may have started too quickly, you kind of learn what your body is capable of, okay? So learn to pace yourself, okay? Part of pacing leads to drafting, okay? If you happen to be at the front of the group and you don't want to be there because you want to draft, there's no reason why you have to pull the group around. You can just go your pace. If someone goes by, you can go latch onto their wheel, okay? And then, of course, in bike racing, there's also breakaways. You can also get away from the group and try to do it all yourself and leave the group behind. And if you're strong enough to do that, power to you. The reason why we did the small ring, okay, especially with juniors, is developing leg speed. It's very, very important to develop leg speed. You really can't effectively race a bike pedaling at a low cadence, okay? So it's kind of akin to the analogy I like to use. If I bring you all in the weight room, and your goal is to bench press 100 pounds. Well, we're not going to rack up 100 pounds and ask you to do it because you probably can't. That's akin to putting it into a 5311 and ask you to go out and race your bike. It's going to be difficult, okay? So we're going to start off with a 45-pound bar and have you do sets, a whole bunch of big rep sets on the 45-pound bar. That's akin to putting it in a small ring, say the 39, 14, or 12, or going the other way, 16, 17, and getting the legs to turn over quickly, okay? What happens is they turn over quickly, they get stronger. Next thing you know, you can go up a gear, and you can do the same cadence, and now you're going even faster, and it just keeps progressing. Big ring, all the way down the cog, and I tell you, I have raced some juniors that can turn over their junior gearing at like 120 RPMs and keep up with everybody, you know, seniors included, okay? So it's very important to learn high cadence, all right? So work on that. If you have a bike computer, try to see constantly 95 or above if you can for a cadence. If you're constantly below that, say 90, 85 in that range, you want to lift that up a little bit, okay? So work on that. Cadence, cadence, cadence. Spin to win. Look at when the Tour de France comes on this year, and you're watching that, and they're coming into one of these sprint finishes, and the group is going 35 miles an hour in the last K. Look at the leg speed. No one's pedaling like this. Nobody. It's like, all right? That's what you got to do.
The other thing is with that high leg speed is it allows you to react faster. So if you're moshing a big gear and then you see a brake go up the road and you try to jump onto that brake and you're like, you know, like Sergei Hanchar was this old Hungarian racer. Swear he had a cadence of 60.
Yeah.
He couldn't respond to anything. You could just sit there and motor all day long. But if you can't like jump and snap out of where you're at, you're always going to get left behind. So that's the idea of another reason to have that really high-end, supple, you know, pedal stroke.
Through the lane, I want to see you looking back over your shoulder, keeping a straight line. This is like the most important thing you can learn.
I'm gonna crash.
Keep your bike going straight while your head turns to the back. And I'll show you. You might want to spread out a little bit because there's a lot of you and you'd be more comfortable with some room. So just ride, take a look.
Oh, we only have to like look a little bit.
Yeah, just a glance.
Just a glance. Okay, good. If it moves like
But if you turn and open up your body, your bike is going to go that way. So think about your shoulders. Think about just using your neck. Your neck might start to hurt. You don't have to look back for too long. You just want to look back, see what's back there. Each time through, we're going to alternate. One person will have 2 hands on the bars. Your partner will have 1 hand on the bars, 1 hand on your shoulder. All right. So you can work on switching sides. But I want to see everybody ride through with 1 hand on the shoulder. It kind of forces you to ride right next to it.
Only one of them. Only 2 people that did that.
All right.
But I mean, mine is only so strong. What is there with
I'm gonna have to ask, buddy. One of your pair will need to pull the water bottle off of your bike because you're going to pass it back and forth as you ride down. So it's kind of like having your shoulder on the person, but you gotta. And here's a little tip: when you're holding the bottle, hold it at the top so your partner can grab it at the bottom. Does that make sense? Top and bottom. That'll make it a lot easier to switch on.
She's taking the water bottle.
It's mine. Sunlight off.
Let me go in front of you. My partner is
Yeah, make sure that you start from back there so you already rolling. First couple times through, what we're going to try to do is use both hands and come to almost a full stop at the last pump. No skidding, just a nice controlled stop. Then we'll switch it up and we'll use, first we'll use only the back brake, and then at the end we'll use only the front brake so you get an idea of, the front brake is actually much more powerful than the back brake. So ideally, you only ever want to use the back brake if you only have 1 hand. Right? So if you're holding your bottle, always hold your bottle in the left hand. So if you have to grab the brakes. That seems pretty obvious. I'll show you the 1 hand. Switch to the right hand. When you're only using the back brake, you actually got to start braking a lot sooner than if you're using both or just the front. So think about that. Guys on this front brake. And here's one last tip. When you're using the front brake only, try to move your butt back. It keeps your weight to the back of the bike. Keeps you from coming forward. Alright?
You just gotta try. It's easier. It's actually easier.
Yeah, you have more power on the
Yeah, you can brake a lot better.
trying.
What I want to see you do is pick it up halfway. Really? Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, I swept you.
Hands on
Sir Don.
Go, he's like, go. I never had anything like this when I started in 1985. Yeah.
I think I just went on a group run and got yelled at a whole bunch.
Pretty much, yeah. And I was stupid and aggressive, and I was on the deck a lot because I was super strong and just didn't know what I was doing. So this is great that you all came out. We appreciate having you out, and we hope that you all make the next 4 because, like I say, it's going to get better and better. We're just going to cover more and more things. I'm looking forward to the cornering. What else are we covering?
Gosh, I don't even remember.
Yeah, we don't
Still
remember.
sprinting.
Sprinting, cornering,
Sprinting, cornering, wrapping it all up together.
Yeah.
So we will probably start doing less drills and more on the course kind of stuff.